Welcome back, everyone, to the cigar smoke filled back room. I am Doug with Tusk Consulting, tuskconsulting at gmail.com, tuskconsulting at gmail.com. If you're a pro gun Republican and you need political consulting help, drop me a line at that email address and we'll see what we can do for you. If you are not a pro gun Republican, go away. So, our last video, we started talking about some of the reasons why the Democrats are bad on the issues and knock some of them down a peg or two. And before we get too far into the video, our cigar of the day mm, is a 601 Red Label, and the bottle of the day is a On the Rocks Knob Creek Old Fashioned. This is when you're feeling lazy and you want to drink a cocktail, but you don't feel like making a cocktail. It's already made up for you. All you got to do is pour it over some rocks and poof. Don't get me wrong, I like making a cocktail, but sometimes I like drinking a cocktail more. So, again, these are not sponsors to the program, but let me know. Anyhow, so we've gotten feedback saying, hey, you say to Republicans, guys should be attacking Democrats, metaphorically, rhetorically. How about you do the same, Doug? Nah, all right, all right. So we're kind of taking that tack now, and this video is going to be about the border issue, immigration, etc. Why? Because the Democrats are bad on the border. They just are. So, and of course, the reason we're attacking the Dems is because, look, 2028 will be here before you know it. Somebody's going to end up being the Democrat nominee for president. I got a list of 7, 8 people that probably going to be one of them, but anything could happen. Somebody could come out of left field. But if it is one of the likelies, we want to take some time to establish where they really are on these issues and knock them down a couple notches so that if they do end up the Democrat nominee, the truth about them is already out there and it's harder for them to deny it. And on the border issue, this is really, really important. So, and of course, the border issue is to a lot of people their number one issue. What kind of policies do we get when Democrats are in charge as it pertains to the border? Mm. Well, we get catch and release. This is where someone crosses the border illegally, they get caught, and they give them a notice to appear in court in 6 months, and they just turn them loose. What do you suppose the odds are that a person's actually going to show up to their court date, huh? I'm going to go with lowish, okay? So, catch and release, it's essentially the same thing as just, bringing them in. I mean, it's a little nuts. And then we also have rampant fraud of the refugee and asylum systems. The claims of to be an asylum seeker, an asylee, or a refugee. This is being abused very, very badly, and it's bad because it like many things that are fraudulently used, it diminishes the people who actually need those. There are people that have legitimate asylum claims, that are legitimately seeking refugee status. It would qualify for it. Um, those people, their ability to get what they should be able to get is diminished by all these people fraudulently claiming to be refugees or fraudulently seeking asylum. We also get trafficking of, well, lots of things, including people and drugs. Um, this is bad by any measure. In fact, it's if you claim to care about the people crossing the border, well, some of those people are crossing the border literally in bondage. They're being trafficked. It's essentially modern day slavery. It's awful and demeaning, and I can't wrap my head around people refusing to condemn it. But it is these open border policies that Democrats have, because remember, they are bad on the border, um, that facilitate and encourage these behaviors that allow these trafficking problems to flourish. And then, of course, even if you don't care about any of that, which you should, but let's just say you don't, there are legitimate threats across the border. People on the terrorist watch list crossing the border. Um, that ain't good, right? I mean, there are single military aged males come across the border from countries that do not border Mexico. And to be clear, it's actually both borders. And in the modern day, it's not just the land borders, right? I mean, people come in, people get flown in. I mean, there's an app, and you just go and put your fraudulent BS asylum claim in, and you get fly in, and it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. But this is what Democrat border policy gives us. Is this insane circumstance where somebody on the terrorist watch list gets in to our country, and who knows what they're planning? Who knows what they may do? It seems that the lessons of 9/11 are far, far in the past for way too many people. So, but we're talking about this from a political impact standpoint. Let's talk about the presidential hopefuls on the Democrat side and what they specifically have said, or positions they've taken, etc. We'll start with Ruben Gallego. He was against the border wall at one point and opposed the Remain in Mexico policy. All of a sudden now he's shifting his position. And you're going to notice this is a theme. The Democrats have read the tea leaves and they see that the border issue was a very high priority for a large number of voters here in 2024. And so Ruben Gallego is moderating now. He's slip sliding towards the middle. Okay. He's abandoning his previous positions, which were liberal and loony, in favor of moderate sounding, verbal blah, because he knows he can't stick with those old liberal positions. It's just a non-starter. So he's trying to slip slide toward the middle. JB Pritzker, he liked giving out aid to illegals, give them money, whatever, and housing assistance, all that, uh, and opposed cooperating with ICE. Now, I have a feeling that Tom Homan, or is it Todd Homan? Homan is going to have some very, very, very pointed words and perhaps more for Monsieur Pritzker on that little issue, and he should. Um, ICE gets to operate where ICE gets to operate. That's pretty much the whole U.S., folks. And just because some governor of some state thinks he's really important, yeah, okay. I wouldn't get in the nicest way if I were you. Josh Shapiro opposed sending the National Guard to the border, opposed an emergency declaration for the border. Wes Moore wanted a pathway to citizenship. This is one of those terms, pathways to citizenship. It sounds nice, right? We're not going to just give it to them. No, no, no. We're going to make a process, a pathway. It sounds so like you say, oh well, if there's a pathway, then it must mean that they're going to like vet these people and make sure that only the good people are getting in and the bad people are. Well, it sounds so great, doesn't it? But let me translate it out of lunatic liberal speak. Pathway to citizenship means amnesty. It means amnesty for every 10 plus, maybe even closer to 20 million. Who knows the exact number? We'll never know the exact number. But regardless, millions and millions and millions of people that they think are going to vote for liberals. That's what they want. They want a permanent underclass. They want people that are that they think can be in their corner. I find that disgusting. To wholesale break the law and encourage this is a criminal enterprise is what it is, to wholesale break the law, break immigration law for selfish political gain is disgusting to me. But anyway, um, take that up with Wes Moore. Anyway, Andy Bashir is, I've often believed that he is probably the most likely Democrat presidential hopeful for 2028. The reason I say that is he's governor of Kentucky, a red state. It's a red state. And he's a Democrat, and he's probably the last Democrat that's going to win statewide in Kentucky for a generation. Now, he didn't get to be governor by embracing far leftist positions, by sounding like the Squad, right? That's not his style. Instead, he's got this, very Kentucky unique approach to things. And he's careful, usually, to not stake out too liberal of ground. Now, you may recall in our last video about guns, he was for red flag laws, which are awful. But here on the immigration issue, the worst thing I could dig up on him was that at one point the legislature in Kentucky was trying to make it harder for cities to become sanctuary cities, and he opposed that bill. Now, the argument he made was Kentucky doesn't have any sanctuary cities. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but regardless, the legislature was trying to make sure they didn't get any, and he wasn't in favor of it. Now, as compared to JB Pritzker that wants to, go and arm wrestle Holman, that doesn't sound nearly as nutty, right? Um, Still, you know, keeping sanctuary cities out of your state is a darn good idea. So Andy Bashir still, hey, guess what, folks? He's a Democrat, which means he is bad on the border, but he is not as far out there as some of the others. And I believe that's one of the reasons why he's such a promising contender for the Democrats in 2028. Gretchen Whitmer, she, wanted to give driver's license to illegals, even blocked a new immigration detention center, which is not good. And then we have the king liberal, the emperor liberal, Gavin Bloody Newsom, the Nero of California that fiddles while it burns. Of course, he loves sanctuary cities, hates the border wall, says, there is no border crisis, give Medicaid to illegals, all the typical loony liberal lines. Gavin Newsom sings them in perfect key. So, in summary, the Democrats are bad on the border issue. Um, they even know it. And that's why a lot of these people are moderating their positions now and trying to pretend like they didn't say some of these things and trying to slip slide towards the middle in order to enhance their prospects for the 2028 presidential cycle. Again, I am Doug with Tusk Consulting, tuskconsulting at gmail.com, tuskconsulting at gmail.com. Thanks, everybody. See you in the next one.